Welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio from Taatjes Financial Group. Taatjes Financial is a company that specializes in helping retirees and pre-retirees build purposeful retirement plans. Custom plans that not only help clients steward their treasure, but their time and talent as well. They believe that if you're taken care of financially, you go even further to make the family, community, and kingdom impact you truly desire to make, which is the ultimate purpose of wealth. If you'd like to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with one of their financial advisors, give them a call at 222-4236. You can request a meeting at taatjesfinancial.com or simply stop by their office on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Ben Taatjes, and once again this week, joined by one of our advisors, Tim Mattern, on the studio here with me. How you doing, Tim?
Good. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing great. Getting, another week closer to summer. It feels like that. The weather's great. We got through this kind of crazy storm system they were talking about yesterday, and it's just nice to be with some sunshine today. So as we're kind of winding down this month, right? Mm-hmm. So it's April. In fact, it's our last show of April. We've been talking about financial literacy all month to our listeners, and it's something that I absolutely love doing, is just educating people. Just in a meeting with one of our clients, and she said something like, I just trust you, and I want to make sure we have trust, and that's always important with our clients, but we also got to make sure they understand. Right?
Exactly. Yep.
And I think that's something that continually comes up is like education. Don't blindly trust someone. We certainly love the trust, but we want to make sure that I think to be a true steward of something, right? We talk about stewardship all the time on the show. To be a true steward, you have to know what you're stewarding. Mm-hmm. It's one of the first things I talk about and we talk about with our clients is, do you have a good handle of what you're in charge of? I think that's important to talk through that. And then I think having the ability for us as advisors to communicate with our clients and explain things to them in a way that they can understand it. Money can be so complex and so confusing. And I know behind the scenes, a lot of what we do is complex, mm-hmm. and it is sometimes confusing. Our job is really to explain it in a way that our clients leave here with some understanding so they don't just trust us. So I think financial literacy, a lot of people talk about budgets and the importance of, we talked on this show about the personal E economy, right? The small mm-hmm. E economy versus the big E economy. That is somewhat what we're talking about with financial literacy, but really financial literacy is just understanding what you have. You've had a couple of meetings just in the last week that, this conversations really drove home this idea of you're asking the right questions, you're talking about the right stuff, right? And then communicating back in a way that the client learns and understands more. Tell me about kind of some of these last couple of meetings and the things you're talking about.
Yeah, I think this is perfectly timed. You said it's about trusting, and we appreciate that trust. And I would say to any employer out there, you trust your employees, but you verify. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes for us. You trust what we do, but understand. It goes hand in hand. And I think that's so critical. I've had a few meetings recently where I feel like there's just blind trust either with what we're doing or trust between spouses, and not necessarily communicating or understanding. And it leaves this open area that nobody knows and nobody fully understands because the right questions aren't being asked. And then that doesn't give me the ability to say, how can I help you guys? That's what I need to do, really. So I'm trying to understand situations with clients and how I can help them out. But I need to also understand some of their questions too.
Yeah, Tim, I love that. I think those good questions get us into the point at which we get good responses, right? Mm-hmm. And response that help us learn more and understand more about the situation. So when you had, I know this client in just this last week talking about this, I think it came down to, and I've had so many meetings like this lately too, where I'm trying to help the client understand the difference between like wealth, like they've got a lot there. Mm-hmm. Like there's this money either in a statement, right? It's in their 401k, it's in their IRA, it's in a trust. It's like you can see the balance on their statement, Same goes for farmland or real estate investments. That to me is all wealth. That's the stuff, right? The income that stuff creates is the usable side of money. So when you were with this client, I know just recently, you're trying to help them understand, like, you have the wealth to create the income, but right now you got to make sure you got regular, consistent income, because now's the time you need it.
Correct. And that was a big, I think, moment for us in our meeting. Was we knew that we had the wealth built. We knew in the future, not now, there was this income. And these individuals were in their mid-60s, and one had just retired and felt like, okay, I have these years and these 4 or 5 years that, what am I going to do? Even though we don't have the income now, it's in the future. So now we have to make decisions, and it might come down to Social Security. What can we do to help solve this problem? And it was a difficult one to understand, because to her it felt like, I'm just going to waste away for the next 4 or 5 years. And now we're talking about the life deferral piece and all that stuff. And I think it came down to lack of communication between them. But if that wasn't said by her, then I don't know how it would have ended up in 3 or 4 years. It would have been, I looked at him, I said, if we don't have this conversation today, I failed you as a financial advisor.
Sure.
That was the biggest thing.
And potentially there's resentment.
Yes.
Because now husband's still working. Or wife is still working, whichever way it is.
And unintended,
and the other spouse is retired. And they're like, well, now we've got to kind of pinch pennies, or I can't do the things I want to do when I'm in my mid-60s. So again, that communication, so important, that you get down to what do you really want? Like, what is the best step? And even a case like that, sometimes the decision might be to turn on Social Security earlier than what is like optimal. Like if you're just trying to optimize the benefit, Social Security, we can tell you how to do that. Now you got to tell us how long you're going to live, which is hard, but we can certainly do the planning. Tim, you're a national Social Security advisor. You've sat with probably now hundreds of clients to visit and to go through their Social Security benefits, educate them, and help them make those good decisions. Sometimes, though, the right decision is not the one that creates them with the optimal long-term cash flow. It may just give them a window when they need the money the most to actually be getting that Social Security turned on. So that's a phenomenal thing. I think as we go forward in these shows, we're going to just continue to bring up cases we're working on, things that we're trying to help clients with, and how we're educating them. So as we kind of wrap up the show today, how do you leave with that client? How do you generally go out from there? Is it decisions made, that's it? Or are we going to continue to monitor?
We're just getting started. Basically is if I didn't have that information, like I said, we would have missed the point of it all. So no, now it's kind of like, okay, now I can think through things. We're going to have them back in here shortly. And I told them, like, the next year or so, it's going to take a few months of planning and outlining it. But now it's go time for me to plan, so that way these next 4 or 5 years don't feel like a waste and don't feel like we missed the boat.
Love it. So again, it's communication. It's helping people understand what's really best for them. It's helping them steward. Awesome. So until next week, Taatjes Financial Group, we appreciate you listening.
Do you need ways to help steward your time, your talent, and your treasure? If so, Taatjes Financial Group can help. Now is the time to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. You can do this one of 3 ways. Number 1, give them a call right now at 222-4236. You can request a meeting online at taatjesfinancial.com, or you can just stop by their office located on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer. I'm Jared Sebesta. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. We'll see you next time.
Securities offered through Avantax Investment Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Avantax Advisory Services. Insurance services offered through an Avantax affiliated insurance agency.